was in middle school, I met my best friends. They're actually from different countries, so I'm from the Philippines and they actually moved here to America as well. One is from the Netherlands and one is from Colombia. First year of high school, unfortunately, they had to move back to their country. Throughout the years, I believe it's been maybe like 7 or 8 years since we met, we've actually stayed in touch. So a lot of the times I'm actually left to be by myself, which is something that I'm very comfortable with. I've adapted to learn how to be my own friend, which at its core is the topic of today's video. This is what we're going to be talking about, which is being your own friend. And being successful, this is basically being comfortable with being alone in your own company and finding joy within yourself. I believe that it is necessary, absolutely necessary, to have good quality company, and we have to know how to be equally happy with ourselves alone in our own company. If you learn how to be comfortable doing things on your own, being your own friend, being your own company, doing things that you like on your own is the most liberating thing, to kind of be detached from the idea that you have to have another person in the same room as you to have a good time. There's a whole other world within you. You're actually a very exciting thing. You're a person. People are so complex. There's just so much to know. And if you don't think that within yourself, then spend a little time with yourself alone. You'll get to realize how interesting you actually are. I know the title says what to do when you have no friends. That is basically a lie, because you are your own friend. And that's the main thing of this video, is becoming your own friend. Becoming your own friend. That sounds nice. For those who are not used to being alone, don't know how to have a good time by yourself, one place to start is to ask yourself this question. What is it that I like to do? And then actually do it. I'm mostly alone throughout my day because I choose to be, but I actually don't feel alone even when I am, because I consider myself to be my greatest company. The more that you practice being alone, the more you're gonna find out how awesome you are as a person. I don't know why we say as a person, like we have to clarify that we're people or something. The more that you're gonna find out how awesome you are and how interesting your life actually is and how interesting your mind is. Sometimes I feel the need to talk to someone about something. And when my friends aren't available for me to call up or ask to come over to talk or meet somewhere, I actually love to either talk to myself, which I know sounds strange, but it's one of the best things that I've ever picked up in my life. And I would recommend self-talk to everybody. I actually read this book, which I will get. Hold on, I'm gonna get it. This is what I'm talking about. It's a little worn out because I've had this for a while, but I read this when I was in high school. One of the best books I've ever read, because what I acquired from it is so valuable to me. It basically teaches you about programming yourself through self-talk and how self-talk can actually affect you. I don't even have to be talking directly to myself, but maybe I'm just thinking out loud. I love thinking out loud. Hearing your thoughts out loud gives you another perspective. Sometimes something can sound so great in your mind, and as soon as you say it out loud, it's like, did I literally believe that? A lot of the times when you say things out loud, you kind of catch these things that you actually don't even resonate with. One of my absolute favorite ways of self-talk is journaling. I feel like a lot of people will tell you to journal because you'll be happier, you'll be so this and that. Even though journaling works so well for me, I love it. I 100% recommend people to try journaling, but journaling doesn't have to be for everyone. You don't have to journal to live a happy life. There are many ways of self-talk, self-expression. Journaling is just one of them, but journaling is one of my absolute favorite ways to communicate with myself and express what is going through in here. I know that practicing self-talk with yourself can feel very strange at first, but to be honest, it's one of the best techniques that I do. One, when I'm alone, I'm feeling lonely, or when I have no one to talk to, I depend on myself completely for that. Best thing. I honestly really recommend it, and I definitely recommend looking into this book. Such a good book. So right now I'm getting ready to go out and take photos by myself, which leads me into my next thing that I want to talk about, which is doing your hobbies. For me, taking photos is just something fun I like to do. Hobbies are just something fun you do. You don't always have to be around people to validate whatever you're doing. There's so many other hobbies out there. If you don't know your hobby, it's time to go out and find your hobby. It could be as simple as going out for a walk. If you're not used to doing things on your own, I understand that these things can be kind of difficult, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible. You are more than capable of being able to do this. It just takes getting used to. So this is my makeup. It's very simple today. Nothing crazy. I'm actually really excited to go and take photos with just myself. Throughout the time that I'm doing things on my own, there's actually a lot of people that I meet and that I talk to that are really cool. It's so easy to come across someone who is just like a pleasant person to communicate with at that moment, and sometimes that's all you need, is just to communicate with someone who just genuinely wants to talk to you in that moment. Of course, I'm not going to be talking to the creepy guys that like honk their horns at me whenever I'm going out to take photos, because I wouldn't. Sir, mind your own business, please. But I have found the coolest people when I'm doing things on my own, because they're doing things on their own, and I feel like us doing things on our own, we're just on the same wave, vibing with ourselves, showing ourselves self-love. And I think being on your own and doing things that you want to do is such a high level form of self-love. I think it's one of my major flex that I could do something that I actually like to do without having to depend on another person, even if it's just a large truck passing by. Something about me and my day, it just feels great knowing the fact that I can depend on myself to have a good life without feeling the need to constantly depend on another person to be there. Here's the outfit right now. I put on some silver jewelry because I'm kind of feeling silver more than gold lately. Nice little beige crop top with a cute little denim skirt, and then some like schoolgirl type of shoes.
I wanna know the real thing about you. To see your loving is easy. Telling you in my head, you're looking older, right? I leave in the morning, don't be mad. I know. Kicks you better run, better run. Listen, turn me into something else. I can see right through. Yeah.
No one's actually here, which is really cool. I have this whole space to myself. I kind of just found like a random location that I know no one's really gonna be at, and I'm thinking right in this area I could kind of capture something. I have this app right here. It's called Photo Timer Plus. I have my phone right there, and that is exactly where I want to take my photo. So I just got done taking photos. It was a lot of fun, to be honest. It's always really fun every time I do it, to be honest. Why do we keep saying to be honest? But it was Here are some of the photos that I took today. This is your daily reminder to take photos by yourself with a tripod. Learning a new thing is one of my favorite ways to pass the time. I really don't like that saying, actually, pass the time. It just makes time sound unimportant or meaningless, which I like to put a lot of meaning into my time. There's so many things I like to do with my time, and one of them is learning something new. I crave learning new things. I think it's a general thing to really like to learn new things. So one of the ways that I like to learn new things is to read about it. I have a lot of interest in the human mind, human behavior. People in general are so interesting to me, and whatever it is that I'm actually currently in the mood to learn about. Now, you don't have to read to learn something new. You can watch videos. Recently, I've been watching a lot of videos on existentialism, which is a new topic that was introduced to me by one of my greatest friends, actually. Hey, yeah, what's good? This was the lecture. Alexa, how do you say lecture? Lecture?
I pronounce that lecture.
Lecture. Lecture? That sounds so weird. I don't know why that sounds so weird. This was the video that I was watching about existentialism, and the professor is really passionate about the topic, so it makes it really fun to know more about it. When I'm learning something new, YouTube is the ultimate plug. That's why I love YouTube so much, because there's everything that you can find on YouTube, how to do certain things. He rocked this class. He was awesome. He was awesome, and he explained everything really well.
It's up to you. You can give your life any kind of meaning you want. So a central concept for START is really projects. We engage in certain projects, like getting a college education.
It doesn't have to be reading or watching a video on things like that, but it could be literally learning how to draw, or a little DIY, learning how to upcycle, learning how to propagate plants is something new that I'm learning, and I love to do this by myself. I actually have these all around my room. They're beautiful, they're thriving. Plus, not everyone wants to learn whatever you want to learn. So if you want to go learn something and no one's on board, go do it yourself, and that's okay. There's so many things to do, so much to learn. Take some time, figure out what sorts of things you're interested in. I promise you, you're interested in something. I know I look like I just worked out, but I'm gonna go work out. Long day. Anyway, self-improvement is one of the things that I love to do the most. I find so much joy in improving areas of my life, whether that's internally or externally. A lot of internal work brings me a lot of joy, and when I'm doing a lot of internal work, whether that's meditation or just working through, like, you know, fears and stuff like that, it actually requires me to be alone. A lot of the things that I like to do does require me to be alone for me to completely feel very satisfied with what I'm doing. I reach out to people when I feel the need to, and you know, vice versa, me being there for people who need me. Maybe that's just adulting, but that's just the way my friends and I function. One of the things that I love to do for my self-improvement is exercise. Exercise has been something that I'm trying to be consistent at. I actually work out at home. I love to work out at home because I feel more productive.
I'll be fine if you walk away, but give me one more chance to tell you how I feel.
So what you can basically conclude from this video is that it's just being comfortable, being by yourself, being alone, and doing things that you want to do by yourself. There's so much fun and happiness and joy being by yourself, being alone. I'm so comfortable with being alone by myself, doing things that I want to do, and you can too. It just takes practice, and this is something that I've been doing for years. Practicing being on your own and doing things by yourself, I know can be very challenging for a lot of people, especially when you're so not used to it. But just know that there's so much there for you in yourself, and I don't want you to ever think that you are not good enough just to be by yourself, because you absolutely are. And that is it for today's video. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!
Don't say you're sorry, 'cause I don't